LayerZero, the airdrop everybody had been talking about, first crashed down massively, but now it's just rising again like a phoenix from the ashes. Let's have a look at some on-chain data. Let's find out how much longer this rally can potentially last. And in case you haven't yet tried it out, maybe you are eligible for the airdrop as well. The link how to get that airdrop is down below this video. So this week, ZRO is doing actually quite fine. The price went up by almost 40%. We are now at $3.79. And that happened while Bitcoin pretty much didn't move at all. But as said, things haven't always been that rosy. We initially got a dump from $4 all the way to $2.50, and now we are reclaiming those initial highs. We are currently at a fully diluted market cap of 3.8 billion. The currently trading market cap, so what's actually currently floating, is a bit over 400 million. So you can already see something very interesting. The circulating supply is only 11% of all of supply. The supply of LayerZero will roughly 9x from here. Let's have a look at how fast those token unlocks actually happen, because that's in general one of the most important things in any cryptocurrency, right? We want to see the supply development in order to have an idea where the price might go, because price is a result of demand versus supply. If supply grows too fast, then of course the price might have a hard time. Now, LayerZero is a back-end technology that enables to move funds across blockchains. So if you've ever used a bridge, then maybe LayerZero was in the background. That's why you might be eligible for an airdrop, even though you've never consciously used LayerZero. You might have done this by using products that use LayerZero. So let's have a look at the tokenomics. LayerZero got a lot of funding. A Series B supported by Andreessen Horowitz, by Sequoia, by Circle. That was at a valuation of 3 billion and 120 million had been raised. Now we are at a valuation of 3.8 billion. Earlier funding rounds had similar investors. A bit over 2 years ago, the valuation was still at 1 billion, 135 million raised. And before that, it was mainly the crypto ecosystem that put money in at a much lower valuation with much less capital raised. But still, in total, this is quite a lot of money. 263 million raised by LayerZero. And all of those investors want to cash out at some point with a profit, right? Ideally with a multiple X profit. Now, the big question is, when are they going to cash out? And are they going to cash out while we are holding the token? Also on cryptorank.io, we've got a vesting page, and over here is a timeline, but also a chart. And this shows us over time how the tokens unlock. But instead of using this, I personally prefer to use token.unlocks.app. And so over here, we see that the circulating supply is actually not expanding up until June of next year. So in the short term, there isn't too much to worry about. The big question is, what happens then in those few months before the unlock? If there are enough people that bet on falling prices at the time, we might even see a short squeeze. So that's when market makers and market manipulators buy up a lot of tokens to force liquidate short sellers. Right now, we can already bet on falling prices of LayerZero. I don't think it's the best thing to do right now. I don't think it makes a lot of sense to bet now on falling prices of ZRO. There's simply too much attention, and there is also a lot of ownership by the large centralized exchanges. Here, have a look at this. Binance has more than 25% of trading volume, and the perpetual futures market is also relatively active. So the large players don't necessarily have an incentive to push down the price at the moment. But as an investment over the next 2, 3, 4 years, it's very, very important to keep a close eye on those unlocks. Very smart people got in with a valuation of $3 billion. So $3.8 billion doesn't seem too terrible. Now, the big question is, why did those smart venture capitalists buy at that valuation? On chain, I don't really see that much momentum, so I don't have a clear answer for this yet. Let's have a quick look at the data. So this comes directly from the explorer of LayerZero. It's LayerZeroScan.com. This is the number of messages over time. Here we've got the number of chain paths, also not really doing well. The number of protocols that are actively using LayerZero. And here's a split by different networks or different blockchains. On Dune Analytics, we see pretty much the exact same data. On the left, we've got the number of transactions. On the right, we've got the number of users. It doesn't seem like the transactions are concentrated in just a few users, right? There is a very strong correlation between transactions and user count. Here, the same data again on Dune.com. So really not that much activity. So a lot of the hype recently, a lot of the hype is related to the airdrop. It's simply just that you can now claim for free your ZRO tokens. And I've tried to claim some. Unfortunately, I did not get any, but this is the website. It's layerzero.foundation/eligibility, and the link will be posted in the video description. Make sure you don't just search YouTube for that and follow random links here. This, for example, is an AI generated video that tells you about this airdrop. And in here, we've got actually a fake link. So once you go over here to this fake website, which looks very realistic, right? It looks like the real website. Once you go to this fake website and then you click on check, you don't even have to paste in any kind of address. You just click on check. It already tells you that you can claim some ZRO. So don't go on websites like this. The real website is layerzero.foundation/eligibility. Now let's have a look at a few on-chain statistics, because again, ZRO is available, of course, on pretty much any chain since it's an interoperability protocol anyways. So let's have a look at where most of that capital currently is on chain. And let's also see whether or not the people that claim the token are selling off quickly. So we've got a version on Ethereum with 6,000 holders. We've got another version on the Binance Smart Chain with 19,000 holders. Then there's Polygon, also 7,000 holders roughly. The Optimism version has almost 50,000. For Arbitrum, we've got 4,000 holders. For Avalanche, we've roughly 4,000 holders. But look at this, Arbitrum has almost 500,000 holders. Very, very interesting. The base chain also has 80,000 holders. It's a lot of holders, but of course, most of those holders didn't buy the token. They simply just got it airdrop. Let's have a look at where actually the capital is, because that's a problem with an airdrop, right? If you simply just have 2 or 3 cents of the token, you're counted as a holder in that explorer. But when we want to know where actually the capital is moving on chain, not on the centralized exchanges, it makes sense to put a holder threshold on those wallets. As in, we want to count the wallets that have at least $10,000 worth of the token or $100,000 worth of the token. And so let's go through that. This is the Ethereum based token. On the left, we've got a minimum threshold of 200 tokens. So each wallet here has at least $800 worth of LayerZero tokens in their wallet. There are now 1,500 such wallets. In the middle, we go at 10x from that. So that's now $8,000 worth of the token. On the right, we have the whales. That's now $80,000 worth of the token. The number of holders is increasing over time. But again, most of this is very likely airdrop claims. Here's the same number on the Binance Smart Chain. Look at how much fewer whale wallets there are. There's only 8 whale wallets versus more than 200 on Ethereum. Here's the token on Polygon, same thing, very few whales. Same is true for Optimism. Here's Avalanche. And here is Arbitrum. So Arbitrum actually still does have quite a few whales. The number of holders is excessive, right, with almost 500,000 versus only 6,000 on Ethereum. Even though, again, on Ethereum, we've got way more whales. Here's the number of holders on Base. Also not really that large in terms of whales. So we see that most of the on-chain action happens on Ethereum and on Arbitrum. Ethereum doesn't have a lot of holders, but most of those holders have very deep pockets. Arbitrum has a lot of holders, but also some of them have some deep pockets. Again, it's 215 whales on Ethereum versus 60 whales or so on Arbitrum. My impression is that LayerZero is probably not going to make huge gains because it already has quite a bit of a market cap, but it's also unlikely going to crash simply because there's too much vested interest in a good price performance. I believe that short term there will be some price manipulation. We've already got the listing on the centralized exchanges. We've already got the derivatives, the perpetual futures on those centralized exchanges. And the vesting of those venture capitalists still takes more than a year from now. Now, I'm not going to buy any ZRO. That's because there's not that much upside, but also because I see the general market as not that healthy at the moment. Because maybe you haven't seen this yet. The stablecoin market cap isn't growing since April of this year, unfortunately. Crypto isn't expanding anymore. There isn't any more fiat flowing into the system. The game is becoming 100% player versus player. Thus, what I'm actually looking at is opportunities to short the altcoins. I'm not going to short LayerZero because the vesting unlocks are too far out in the future, but I am shorting tokens that have pretty bad tokenomics. If we see an expanding token supply in a market that doesn't see a lot of new buyers, then it's very unlikely that the demand can grow as quickly as the supply. Thus, at least the relative valuation of a lot of altcoins are likely going to go down relative to Ethereum and relative to Bitcoin. And so that's my central bet at the moment. I like to bet on falling prices of charts like this. Since beginning of the year, this went down by more than 60%, and it is one of my largest altcoin positions. I'm betting on this to continue to fall. I made tutorials on how to make money with this, on how to short this asset. I'm also talking about what asset this actually is. That's all available for the premium members. So instead of trying to find the needle in the haystack, the one altcoin that might outperform Bitcoin and Ethereum, I'm betting on the haystack, on the vast majority of altcoins doing poorly. I'm betting on this, for example, to go down. And if you want to know how to do this, then again, there is premium. It's thebitcoinstrategy.com. If your crypto portfolio doesn't yet justify premium, there's also a free Telegram group. The link is as well down below. Looking very much forward to chatting with you over there as well. Cheers.